If you're thinking this video has anything to do with the matchup itself or death battle itself, then no, that's not what this is about at all. Guts vs Dimitri is a perfectly good matchup, and I do not need Claire on death battle to justify my love of her or her series. Rather, I'm just tired. I'm tired. I've explained my stance on things before in terms of my criticisms and why I don't shy away from criticizing a show I love. I think that the fact that I can criticize it and love it exemplifies how much I care about and to an extent look up to Death Battle as a show with a lot of qualities that I like to live up to one day with my own versus content. I don't think anything should be exempt from criticism unless it's a fucking 3-word tweet that says racism is bad. To pretend like Death Battle should not be criticized is normally built upon some really dumb concepts, like calling it a turn off your brain series, which I think spits in the face of the people who put a lot of thought into the episodes on making them, or people saying that it's just a cheap internet series so we cannot hold it to any standards, which is an insult to the love and passion put in by the team behind it, or that arbitrarily it shouldn't be criticized because people are too dense to just say that the criticisms aren't things they agree with or think are major downsides, and would rather try to fundamentally discredit the concept of pointing out flaws so that others can improve. It would rather pretend like Death Battle has reached the peak of its ability and thus can never improve, so from now on we're just going to be on a perpetual downward spiral or a constant plateau of status quo. Normally though, I'm not too fussed about this whole thing though. Anyone who's seen me handle people who throw hate at me on Discord have probably noticed that my way of handling it is to just troll back with a nice and hearty thanks for the criticism. You know, because it's fucking hilariously ironic that people will say that a show made by a production company with somewhat of a budget and a decently large group of people behind it over the course of months of production time cannot be criticized, but a semi-consistent series of reviews made by one guy on a budget of 3 slices of bread and the vain power of hope over a span of a couple days can be criticized. But lately, I just kind of realized and accepted that it's not just people who hate me who have this certain view of me. It's also a lot of my fans and plenty of my friends too. I'm the negative one. That's who I am. That's the stigma I'll have to live with, and I can't change even though I've tried. As in, I can't change the stigma. And now, to be fair, as a Chinese, German, and Australian, it is far from the worst stigma that I've had to and will have to live my life with. It's not even the same fucking parsec as some of the other stuff I'll have to deal with, just being what I am. But it's different, you know? Nobody I care about who cares about me is going to hold those stigmas, but they will still see me as the negative one. And I'm not going to name any names, because not only do I think that would be shitty, but I also don't blame them, because they definitely don't mean anything by it. Not anything terribly serious, at least. And hey, if they can put up with my presence despite that, then I guess that means I might be able to gaslight myself into thinking one or two of them give half a shit about me as a person. And also, I don't have a lot of bridges to burn, so I shouldn't be trying. But it has sort of just... I'm done. I've never pretended to be a particularly strong person emotionally, but I've held out longer than I thought I would have. I'm at a point where I don't fucking know what to do. I love Death Battle. I've never pretended to think otherwise about the show unless I was doing an incredibly blatant satire video that some people were still too dense to get. Because I guess with a population of 7 billion, you're bound to have some stupid ones. I've seen the criticisms towards my videos, and while most of them were bad faith, attacked my character and me as a person, were sometimes blatantly racist or just made no sense, one actual piece of constructive criticism I've tried to take to heart in my last 3 odd reviews was not that I don't point out positives enough, because I do, but that I should emphasize them more so that my reviews don't seem as lopsided. And those might sound like the same thing, but they're not. And I've heard a lot of people telling me that I should probably try to emphasize them more over the last few months, and yeah, I've been trying to do that, you know. Not that anyone's fucking noticed. I accepted that maybe I just didn't notice how my reviews were a bit too far on one end and not the other, so I'm trying to correct that. You see, motherfuckers, criticism sometimes does help. Or maybe not, because despite the fact that this season, I can say from talking with Biff, I have liked at least half the episodes of the season more than he has, I'm still the negative one of us. Because I can point out more flaws and despite that still like the episodes more than Biff does, I am a more negative person. That's how things work now, because I have more reasons to dislike a thing, but I like it not just as much but even more than someone else with less reasons to dislike it, I'm apparently a negative one. And that's not me saying that I want anyone to start calling Biff the negative one, because I will fucking end your goddamn life and nobody will find the pieces of you after I'm done. It's just, what am I supposed to do? What am I expected to do? Well, here's what I am gonna do. First off, no more reaction videos. I'm done. I can't fucking do them anymore. There's multiple other reasons behind the scenes, but frankly, all of them are just kind of small and push me to the point of breaking, but didn't push me over the line. I just accept that there will be no reactions anymore. There's nothing else I can do. They're just not gonna happen. And on the same token, don't expect reviews necessarily to be mandatory anymore. At this point, whether or not I review an episode or even watch it is going to be less of a when and more of an if. I love Death Battle, but now that I can't help but associate it with even my close friends seeing me as a negative person, or the fact that I've basically made a career online of putting myself in the line of fire of even my fans because I have more complex reasonings to my opinion than the most basic bottom line of I like the characters, so I like the episode and the story. It's not as easy for me to look forward to Death Battle anymore. And don't get me wrong, if that's your reasonings for liking episodes, that's completely fine. It's completely okay to like an episode for a very simple reason, even as basic as just liking both the characters. But that doesn't give you the right to attack me for needing more than that. You don't have to go after me for seeing things in a different way to you, okay? And I gotta make that clear, because I realized I came off as a bit dismissive there. So just to be clear, there's nothing wrong with liking episodes based purely on character bias. Even Gogeta versus Vegito. There's nothing wrong with it. And, Guts vs. Dimitri has now become something that kind of embodies that feeling I have more than anything. It's still not the matchup I feel most negative about as a matchup. It's not a matchup that has gotten me actively harassed during really bad points of my life, the way Friezatron has. Nor is it actively fucking offensive like any number of religious, bad taste historical, or actual serial killer matchups, which some dense motherfuckers have tried to push while being fully aware of what they were doing. Guts vs. Dimitri is still a perfectly good matchup. I love Berserk, it's probably my favorite manga of all time, and Guts is one of my favorite manga protagonists, and I do like Fire Emblem, though mostly Blazing Blade, because that's the one I've put a lot of time into. I just can't help but wince a bit at this matchup now. I don't know if I want to even watch the episode, but I know that I'm leaning against reviewing it. I like to give episodes the most unbiased view I can. With Vader vs. Obito, despite all the reasons I had to be negative against it, I was able to clear my head and talk about it from an unbiased perspective and give it the glowing positive review that it deserved. I don't know if I can do that for Guts vs. Dimitri, when all the negative feelings towards it are directly connected to the review that I would be writing. At this point, I would basically be reviewing Guts vs. Dimitri, trying to find reasons to justify my innately negative bias, and because of that, I want to avoid reviewing it. I don't want to put myself into that mindset, into that situation. I don't want to push that negativity onto the episodes, its fans, the people who made it, or the fucking guy who's going to wait until he needs to take a shit to watch it on his phone. My review would not give the episode the credit it deserves, no matter how good or bad it ends up being. It would inevitably be casting a negative light onto the episode that nobody who made it or enjoyed it would deserve to have cast in their direction. So, you're not getting a review on Guts vs. Dimitri. I'm sorry for anyone who expected it or was excited for it, and I don't know when this video is going to come out. Maybe the episode is already out by now. Regardless, I most likely will have not seen it and will not be watching it. I'm predicting that Dimitri will win. I do not care what the next time is. I'll say now that I know there will be a small subset who will throw hate and harassment towards Death Battle, its researchers, and its crewmates if Dimitri wins, saying that they're disrespecting Miura's passing by having Guts die. Please jump into a Griffith of clips if you're one of those people and never come back. Just fuck off. This has not been the most miserable waiting period for me. I don't think anything's going to beat out Hulk vs. Broly, Omni-Man vs. Homelander, or the episode that came out an episode after that one. And really, a lot of this is due to a downward spiral I've been on the last few months. I sent some stupid messages to people, including some at really bad times, because I have been going fucking insane and just forgotten what's happening in other people's lives. A lot of people I talk to have had pretty shitty things going on in life, and I've been an absolute dickhead sending stupid messages to try and make myself feel better, without realizing what I was doing. And, a bad mental state is not an excuse to be insensitive. Even if some of them I didn't even realize until after I'd sent it, I still don't think that's good enough. I should have known. And I'm really sorry to anyone that I've done that to. But, you know, it is, this whole situation with this review, it is what it is. I'm really sorry to anyone who's been looking forward to any content related to Guts vs. Dimitri. I know this video is not what any of you wanted. But as I said, it is what it is. All that said and done, I hope everyone has a good day anyway. Thank you to my patrons for supporting me. It will mean a lot with me skipping on this episode. And YouTube, please don't be a dick and fuck me around with this video and make it a pain in the ass to upload. I'll see you all hopefully on a day where I'm feeling a bit better, whenever that might be. Hopefully my backlog of pre-recorded videos will last long enough that by the time I have to start recording new ones, I will be in a better mood and not sound so fucking depressing. So yeah, have a good day everyone. I wish you all the best.